Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of season 3 of the Culture 316 podcast. As you may or may not know, this is Jordan Ahisi. But before we get into the show, I wanted to give a quick disclaimer. We were having some audio mess ups and issues. Unfortunately, there may be some fuzz or some clipping, so please adjust your headphones accordingly. We don't want your ears blown out, but we are working on a workaround and a solution, and we will be having new and improved audio equipment in the episodes to follow. Thank you guys so much for tuning into our season premiere, and let's get into the show. What's going on, everybody? It's been a while, but welcome back to Culture 316. Last time y'all heard from me, I was Jay the Creative. Not that nigga anymore. I'm Jordan Ahisi, because that's my actual name. But I'm so excited because we got someone new, and I'm not even gonna try to introduce herself. I want her to introduce herself.
What's up, guys? It's your favorite Twitter menace, your favorite edgehead as well. Edges Roko, aka Mo. What's up? I'm super duper excited to be working with Jordan for the Culture 316 podcast. Like, I'm nervous because I know you guys have been asking since the Duke Loves Wrestling podcast for me to, get on here. And, I've been postponing it, and it's happening. Like, it's fucking happening.
Yo, and I'm so glad that we get a chance to work together. This season's going to be great. What we got coming out is going to be great. So I'm just super duper excited about everything. You be wilding on Twitter. That's how I found you. So right. None. I'm just like, bro, be 9 a.m. I'm like, ooh, sis is ready. All right. But let's not waste any time. I think it's ironic that we're going to pick up from where Culture left off 2 years ago, and that is with Triple H. He is for those of you who do not know, Vincent McMahon is no longer the CEO and the chairman of WWE. No longer is he head of creative with WWE. He is now retired officially, which means that Stephanie and Nick are the co-CEOs, and Triple H is the head of creative. And how do we even begin to talk about how big this is for WWE? So I definitely wanted to start with your thoughts and how you felt.
I just feel like it has been a roller coaster ride beginning in May with Sasha and Naomi walking out, the whole Vince McMahon scandal, and just like what is going to happen to WWE, whose hands is going to fall into. And just, I don't think anyone realistically thought that Hunter was going to get his hands on it. I think that we all were in agreement that it was going to just become a solely McMahon product, and that maybe Stephanie's going to take over. So to me, I thought it was a plot twist when they decided to make this man head of creative. I was just like, what? And like the changes that came with it was like overnight. Like I'm not going front. I had no faith in SummerSlam. No faith. I had no interest, no faith. When I saw a match crowd, I'm like, all right, we got a bunch of fucking rematches and whatever. But no, like you knew that all that was Hunter's ideas.
Yeah, very true.
Like that, I'm not gonna say it was a perfect show, but it was probably one of the best things we've seen since WrestleMania. I mean, what do you think about it?
I personally think the same. It was one of the best shows since WrestleMania. You could definitely tell that this was Triple H's coming out party for sure. This was his moment of like, I'm here, I've arrived. And it was interesting because you can tell that Hunter's handprints were all over it by his approach to everything. Everything felt new. Everything felt fresh. Even Brock versus Roman. I remember when me and Angie went to Mania in New Orleans, and we're like, oh my God, they're doing Brock and Roman again. Like they're doing this again. But now with the tractor and the last man standing and the theory cashing in, there were so many callbacks and so many unique twists and turns to this that made it feel like it was a new approach to something that we should all be very much tired of. So I thought that SummerSlam from top to bottom was just great, even down to, well, not even down to, especially seeing Bayley come back with Dakota and Io.
That was mind-boggling, bro.
That was mine. When the music hit on both of them, I was just like, like what? Like what do we do? Like what are we doing here? Because it wasn't even announced. Like last time we heard of Dakota, she was released. Like it wasn't even announced that she signed a new contract, and she gets brought back in right into the fold.
I don't mean to interject, but was I the only one that thought for a split second when they were bringing all those names in, and then the other side you just saw Bianca and Becky, that maybe just maybe our girl was going to come back?
Yes, I thought for sure it was going to be like they were going to attack Becky and then leave and then like corner Bianca, and then Naomi and Sasha were going to come out. But like, but even within, it was like, even if that didn't happen right then, how they followed up on Raw the next day was perfect. And I feel like it's paving the way and it's laying the groundwork for Naomi Sasha return. So I definitely thought that they were going to be coming back in that moment. But even with that, return not happening, I was like, okay, we're building something here. And I like it.
And I liked how there was no like teases. There were no like, how WWE is, especially with Vince. He likes to spoil everything.
Yes.
So when it happens, you kind of don't care as much. It's
right.
kind of like, how are they going to go about it? But this was like, no one knew. Like, no one thought. Like, the last time we heard about, again, Dakota and Io, I think Io was unhappy. She was leaving. We all thought she was going to go to Stardom or something, go back with Kyrie or something like that. And then with Dakota, I mean, like, again, as far as I knew, I thought she wouldn't have nothing to do with that company. So when I saw her come out with Bayley, because that's what I was tuning into SummerSlam for. I want to see Bayley, you know. But I saw that, I was like, I never even thought about this being a faction at all. Like, it never crossed my mind. But this makes more sense than Toxic Attraction. Like, this should be Toxic Attraction. This is perfect.
Yes.
This is good
shit. Yes. That was literally my thoughts. Like, I felt like this was Hunter's, because apparently this faction that they were composing of, like, it was an idea that was pitched to Vince, and Vince rejected it 3 times because he didn't like Dakota. So that, like, the fact that
I don't know,
right, but like the fact that this was Hunter's essentially first big creative decision upon being head of creative, I think definitely is setting the tone. And sidebar, I don't care what nobody says, Whitney included, Io Sky is a fly ass name. Like, Io Sky is a fly. I like that name. Like,
I thought it was so nice, and people don't like the Y. I actually don't mind the Y there. To be honest.
Same. Like, I mean, like, it could have been. I mean, like, obviously, it could have been different. I don't think it would have made much of a difference if there was a Y or if it was an AI or if it was a I. Like, I don't know. I just love the name, and the name makes sense because of just all the stuff that she does aerially, like all of her high flying stuff. She's the genius of the sky. So Io Sky makes sense. All right, so boom, the SummerSlam card, and we can go from top to bottom and really assess these matches. So starting with Becky Bianca. Yeah, you can go. I was about to say you can go.
No, honestly, I'm not going front. I was tired of seeing these two go at it. So I wasn't that interested. I was watching the match. I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. However, towards the end,
yeah, they popped off.
That ending with Bianca's what the fuck did she do before the KOD?
It was a Spanish Fly.
I thought she was gonna do her 450 splash and take it old school with the shit she used to do in NXT.
Right.
But no, when she did that Spanish Fly, first of all, I am a sucker for Spanish Flies.
Spanish Flies are so pretty. They're so pretty.
Wrestling move, like what?
Right.
Like when she pulled that and it was so crisp, and I was surprised with Becky. Not that Becky's a bad wrestler or anything, it's just that Becky don't be doing aerial shit. So when I saw that she was able to hang with Bianca's aerial tactics, I was so taken back. So I was like, oh shit, we're gonna see a match end with a Spanish Fly? Because not for nothing, they play with the Spanish Fly in WWE. They just treat it like it's a transitional move, and it's just like, no, that move was fly as shit, number one.
That's a fact.
It is, but number two, like they just treat it like it's just like, or whatever, like a super kick or whatnot. Like you could just back up from it. And to see that it's being used for not just a transitional move, but like an ending with the KOD, and like she found a lot of authority with that KOD. First of all,
that's a fact.
I just want to add that, like, she let you pissed off as hell.
That's a fact.
This is the last goddamn time I'm gonna fucking mess with you, mother bitch.
Right.
And she I was just like, wait, like they definitely popped off. Like maybe the match was kind of boring midway, but listen, like after that, I'm like, all right, Y'all got it. Y'all
Right.
got it. If it has to be your last match, I'll take it. Was it better than the WrestleMania match? No.
No, absolutely
not.
not.
But I'll take it, bitch. What do you think?
I think it was a really good match. I think that they had some really good, like, I just love the story being told of like Becky kind of like being in a position where she's so desperate that she can't help but to be one step ahead. Like when she did the KOD on the barricade and then that transitioned into Becky pulling the arm. I was like, that was genius. That was such a small thing, but I think it told the story really, really well. So I think but overall, I think that the match was great. I think that they told a really good story. I think that Bianca hitting that KOD, I think it was like what I got from that, not to compare the two moves. Remember that Mania 31 spot where Seth hit that? Well, Seth. Randy hit an RKO when Seth like stepped on his back when he was going for the stomp. It gave me that energy because it had like that umph. But I think it was a great match, and I'm glad that this has kind of put an end to their story and that Becky turned face, and obviously the Bayley Io Kai moment at the end was just like the cherry on top because now there's a cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was happy to see that shit end. B, I'm super excited to see what do they do with Bayley, Dakota, and Io Sky, just because. Not for nothing, I do feel like Vince doesn't really give a shit about tag teams. I mean, not really. He doesn't, obviously.
He does at all.
So it was interesting to see a faction immediately be made. Now I'm wondering, are there going to be more factions now that we got confirmation that Naomi and Sasha are coming back? They are more than likely going to pick up where they left off with the belts.
Absolutely.
So it's just like, are they setting up serious factions and tag teams to be made? That's where my brain was going. I don't know who they're going to use. Maybe they might bring up some girls from NXT that have been sitting there for a while, like Casey and what's the other bitch's name? The
Kaden and yeah. They just won the tag belts down there. That's crazy.
They did. I'm just saying, like, you know how Triple H actually loves tag team wrestling.
Right.
You saw that in 1.0. So I'm wondering now that if he kind of went right in with creating a faction and we got that confirmation, are we going to see more serious tag teams? Because Vince loves makeshift tag teams, but Triple H loves real permanent tag teams.
And he loves a good faction.
Let's go into the ones I feel like going. How'd you feel about the SmackDown women's match? Let's start with there.
SmackDown this is Liv and Ronda. So
yes, how'd you feel about that?
It's complicated because I understood why. I just didn't understand why. Like it was one of those things where it was just like, you want to keep Ronda looking strong because her whole moniker is baddest woman on the planet. But at the same time, if this woman is your champion, you want to make her credible. You also want to make her look strong and also prove that her Money in the Bank cash-in was not a fluke victory. So, but I think that they did a good job. It was a neutral thing for me. I liked the match. I think it showed the strengths of both women simultaneously. I think that Liv should have came out on top clean. My opinion. I feel like it would have solidified Liv more had we gotten that kind of outcome. But what about you?
Maybe I'm biased because I don't believe in Liv yet. I think she's very good as an in-ring competitor. I don't find her convincing as a champion. And I still feel like she's only given this championship solely because Bianca and Naomi were absent and they needed something to distract us from the fuckery that was going on.
Yeah.
So I do feel as though that the ending for me was pleasing because while I don't think Ronda is that dominant, I understand her booking is meant for her to be that dominant.
Yeah.
So they almost are trying to go with this whole like underdog babyface angle again, and they were trying to make it seem like Liv won by the skin of her teeth, possibly to reset up another match between them by making it seem like it was a fluke. I just couldn't help but to laugh with the ending just because the second time in a row, Ronda just couldn't get the shit together when it came to her shoulders and a pin.
Right.
Triple Threat Mania went down, and it's to the point where WWE tries to mention the accolade, but they can't show you the actual ending because Ronda fucked up.
Right.
I know this time it was probably planned for the sake of her heel turn, but it was just, to me, it was just comical. The match wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't, to me, a memorable match. The only thing that I really had to comment on in regards of it was just, I see Liv trying. I do want to give her that because, again, to me, I don't find her convincing. She comes off to me like a fan trying to cosplay a wrestler.
Yeah.
When she talks, it's just nails on a chalkboard for me. Not because of her voice, it's just like her delivery. Just like, girl, you've been here for how many years and you can't present yourself as a champion by now? Like, I understand in her head she takes it seriously and that she does care about this business and she does take what she does seriously. It's just that she comes off very corny and childish. I don't get the same feeling with her holding the belt as I did when, say, Sasha, Naomi, a Becky, a Bailey, like, yeah, hell, even Charlotte. Like, I hate Charlotte, but I'll give her that. When she has the belt in her hand, she takes that shit seriously.
Right.
I just don't get that that type of intensity. But what I liked from her was that when she came out in the ring, she was eyeing down Ronda. Like, bitch, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna fuck your ass up type of look. Which I like because I don't like it when baby faces come down. Like, sometimes Bianca's guilty of this. She'll come down, skip into the fucking ring and twirling her hair and shit. It's like, bitch, like, didn't that girl just jump you last week? Why are you skipping around smiling and shit?
Like, dog, you better be taking them earrings out of your ear while you're on your way to the ring.
Like she showed up to the club or something. It's like, girl, no, you just got your ass beat and jumped last week. All right, like, come to the ring and show me that you're ready to beat some ass. And what I liked about Liv was that when she came in, she was still doing her same entrance, but she was eyeing her down like she didn't trust her.
Right.
That she loved. It was very small, but to me it was significant because it's showing me her growth.
Right.
But as far as the ending goes, just to run it back to that, I personally was satisfied with the ending just because I understand they're still trying to continue this again, and they're still trying to establish that, yeah, Liv is the champion, but she still got more to prove, whereas Ronda's up there because I think only one or two other females now had defeated her.
Yeah, I think it was Becky and Charlotte. I think it was. Yeah, Becky and Charlotte were the only ones.
Yeah. So I understand that because, again, not for nothing, Liv is not up there with a Becky and a Charlotte. So they wanted to give her win, but they didn't want to kind of put her up there with the other girls because, not for nothing, she's not up there with the other girls. I'm sorry, Liv fans, but she's not.
And it sucks because I want her to win. I want her to be top tier because she looks like such a lovable person. You know what I mean? So
I think Triple H could do that with her, though. I feel like he could build her to having matches over time to where it's like you take her seriously. Like, I think that could be a perfect way to build her character. Because not for nothing, she don't got a fucking character. That whole watch me shit, I don't get it. But she don't got a character going. But if they want to give her like the underdog babyface thing going, and they want to make her like someone that you shouldn't fuck with and you should take seriously over time, yeah, I feel like they could definitely go with that with Liv. So to me, I was satisfied because she would have a clean win over Ronda. I would personally feel like, all right, what was the whole point of 2018 and 2019 that we went through?
Right.
That's just me personally.
I want to, man. I have so many thoughts, but I have so little time. We're going to save this for what I was about to say for another podcast, but let's talk about the next match.
Again, I'm still going out of order just because it's not lined up. But let's go with Bobby and Theory. How'd you feel about that?
You said Bobby and Theory. So I was scared at the beginning of the match because I thought that Theory was going to make quick work of Bobby when he attacked him with the briefcase. And I was just, oh my God, please don't give this guy the U.S. title again. Please, please don't. But it ended up kind of segueing into just like Bobby having a dominant victory. If anything, it made Bobby more of it made Bobby look more dominant, which I think was great, especially the following night when they had like this whole montage of the prestige of the U.S. title. And it's like, okay, this makes sense now, because now if you're going to put a title like that on a babyface and you want to make it feel prestigious, you want them to be in a position where they have to really fight from behind to win, even though Bobby doesn't look like the type of nigga that he has to fight from behind for anything, because he's just so aesthetically just chiseled and jacked. But
I know what.
But dog, I love the fact that Bobby won. I love how Bobby won. I love how he kind of stuck it to the kid. But yeah, I like that match. And to be honest, I never really say this about champions that used to be heel. I like Bobby's face US title run. Almost the same level that I liked his WWE title run. I feel like it's dominance in a different way. And it's the feuds that he's been in have shown off his, how he can perform as a dominant champion while still being a face. So I like that, so.
No, I definitely feel quite similar to it. And I can't help but to feel like in my head, just because of the way Austin Theory was pushed during the Vince McMahon era before all this stuff happened, I was wondering how would this have played out if Vince was still in control? Because the way Bobby came out and he was presented, he felt to me like a star. It was such a simple entrance. He was just like standing on a little podium, and then he hit his the fireworks. I was like, "Wow, we got a star here!"
Right.
Again, that was another Triple H touch, because I feel like Hunter really does appreciate Bobby Lashley. So that alone, that got a little pop out of me. I thought the match was good. Not for nothing, I don't like Austin Theory, but he does carry out a decent match. I know we're going out of order with this again, but was I the only person that expected that maybe they were going to make him cash in and win that same night? Maybe not in that particular match, but
when Vince was in control. Huh? Oh, you're good. When Vince was in control, I expected him to cash in and win. When I found out that Hunter was in control, I said, no way in hell. He's losing both matches. He's losing both matches some way. That nigga is going home with nothing but a briefcase.
It makes me sad only because I don't like Austin Theory, but I know that in NXT, when Hunter was dealing with Austin Theory, that you could tell like he liked him. Like everyone in their head thought, oh wow, this might be like a young John Cena or something. I don't know why, maybe because it was the it's
like the build. It's the build, the look, the haircut.
Yeah.
It was very early John Cena.
Yes. So I think everyone saw something special in him because he is very talented in the ring. I'm not going to take that away from him. Right. It's just that I feel like since Vince McMahon kind of cornered this man out since he's been here, I don't think Triple H even knows what to do or how to salvage this. So he just kind of was like, all right, nigga, let me just write you off because, like, what am I going to do? Like, what are we going to do with this? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so I was happy to kind of get rid of him and just toss him to the side because, I don't know what they would have done. I mean, you saw like the difference in like the engagement that Liv got when she won versus Austin Theory winning. Like Money in the Bank is one of the most exciting like pay-per-views that we have throughout the entire year. And the fact that the women outshine the men like, and it wasn't even like it was like neck and neck. It was just like no one cared. Nobody wanted this. Only one man in the back wanted this.
Right.
I was happy they just kind of threw it out the way and we're just going to forget about it. So that's my little take on it. So I just like that Bobby won, and I just like that Austin Theory is just like forgotten about.
Now, I was gonna say I got a little bit of time left. I got like 10 minutes, but the Mysterios versus the Judgment Day. Obviously, we can't talk about the SummerSlam card without talking about this because of who returned, but. But I wanted to know your thoughts on that match in particular.
I thought the match was okay. I thought the match was cool. I'll be honest. The entire time I was sitting down, I was just waiting for my man to come out.
Right.
They entrance with him and then the short hair. I don't have to say the haircut of him like 10 fucking years. I'm like, wait, please tell me there's no Beth. Please tell me there's no Beth. There's no Beth. No, I won tonight, bitch. I'm sorry. I did not give a single fuck about that match until that man came back. And then he hit him with a spear. I got my spears so that night. I'm sorry.
good. You're good.
I just love him. But was the match okay? The match was okay. I personally just didn't really care too much about it because I was kind of just waiting for the inevitable to happen already.
Right.
How'd you feel?
I feel that. I think that the match was cool. I don't know. Like I loved that Rhea Ripley was kind of this China as she was giving China. Like Rhea was giving China, and like I love like the dominance outside of the ring, the way she carried herself, her pacing back and forth. It was giving like this menacing bodyguard type of feel and vibe to her. I just thought it was a really, really nice touch. I personally think that they made a mistake with putting Edge out of Judgment Day. I feel like Edge being in that role gave that faction credibility and storyline wise made sense. But Finn, it just felt like they were just trying to give Finn something else to do. And Finn don't need to be in the Judgment Day. Finn just needs to be Finn and he'll be fine. But
honestly, I didn't mind Edge leading Judgment Day. However, I did feel like Judgment Day was slightly going nowhere.
Yeah.
But although I do feel that way, I do feel like they could have kept up with it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that at least if he was going to get a send off, they probably could have done it in a much better way.
They could have.
And the turn had happened that soon. I do agree with your China and Rhea Ripley comparison. I definitely saw that. You know, it kind of reminded me a little bit of DX. I don't know why.
Yes.
My brain started thinking about DX. Just the way she's been utilized. But going back to the whole Edge thing, maybe it's just me being biased as an Edge head and me just appreciating him more when he was an opportunist and he was a dickhead and all this stuff like that. I never got to experience my heel rated R superstar era when he came back. I was waiting on it patiently. I'm like, all right, he could do his little baby face thing. I understand. I mean, he came back from a neck injury. Like, there's no way you're gonna boo this man. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just that when he tried to heel the first time with this, it's not that I don't like it. It's just that I felt like he should have still gave us fans just at least one little run with him being a little opportunist dickhead. You know, that I remember him for.
Absolutely.
So, give you a little bit of it through Judgment Day. And I do appreciate him evolving with his character. Just personally for me and my taste was not what I wanted. So maybe if they let like maybe someone like Finn take over, and I know he's been kind of itching to have more control over his demon character. I saw that in the news recently.
Yeah.
Maybe he could apply that to them and make that his own concept,
right,
or his own little faction. So that's just the way I felt about it. I kind of want Edge to be isolated. I feel like he's to me more interesting on his own. He doesn't need a product.
He doesn't, and he's always thrived as like the not being labeled a face or a heel, but just being him. Like I think that when it was like a build up between him, Bryan, and Roman for the title, I think that was perfect.
Yeah,
I don't know about him being the rated R superstar now. I can see it because it's a TV 14. Huh?
Sorry.
Yeah. That's actually kind of facts though, because like when he was the rated R superstar, he was the opportunist, you know, jerk, but also it was very tied into his sexual prowess. Him and Lita, him and Vicky, him and Crystal, him and like God, like he, like it was all tied in. So I don't know if he wants to do that anymore, but I feel like the creative parameters are set up in a way. If he wanted to do that again, he could.
He could easily, okay. You know, and you don't have to go. He doesn't have to delve into his sexuality and using women. I just feel as though he could still be the opportunist. I mean, like I said, we watched this man fly out and slap the shit out of John Cena's father. You know what I mean? He just did petty shit like that.
When he slapped that man in his face. Oh my God. I will never forget that a day in my life.
I won't, but like that's what I mean. Like he could just do his iconic petty shit. Like that's what I missed about Edge. He was just petty for no fucking reason.
Right. Literally no reason at all.
Something. You got something he wanted, so he's gonna ruin your life, and he's gonna do just little things that are gonna irk you. Like I thought he was comedic, he was funny, and like he knows how to function, whether it was a PG era or it was TV 14 or whatever. So I feel like he can still do what he wants to do. He doesn't have to have that sexual touch that he had. If he wants to include Beth with it, I don't like her, but I mean, if she knows how to work with it, as a heel, then by all means, she's not going to be an Alita.
Right.
And she should know her place about that. But if he wants to come back as the Red Superstar, and he wants to have something similar to where, like, you know, maybe she does manage him a little bit and helps him with some heel fuck shit, that I actually wouldn't mind with Beth.
Right.
That's just my own take. But I mean, everyone might feel differently about it.
I definitely feel you with that take. That was actually a really good take. I think we talked about Logan and Miz.
Yeah.
So let's get to the Brock Roman match.
Oh my God.
That was nuts. And I think it was crazy because once like we talked about with Hunter approaching the show, it was the perfect combination of these new, fresh approaches along with the callbacks of old stuff. Theory was a callback to Seth Rollins. That's the first thing that I thought about. Theory was a callback to Seth Rollins. Having like the Usos involved, having Paul Heyman involved, obviously was expected. But I didn't expect Brock to put Paul through a table like that. I was kind of shocked.
That made me laugh. I was like, no way.
But I thought it was perfect. I thought it was perfect though. Like, I don't like, regardless of how anybody feels about Roman Reigns, I think that man is at the top of his game right now. He's having a Hall of Fame. He has a Hall of Fame career, but this is a legacy defining time for him, and he needs to get all of his while he can. And I feel like this kind of solidified the end of him and Brock, and it solidified him as, in my opinion, as an all-timer. And I just thought it was just an overall great match.
No, I thought it was too, because again, it was one of those matches where I read the card on paper and I'm just like, all right, again, like another fucking WrestleMania rematch or whatever. Right. So I initially didn't give a fuck. I actually didn't give a fuck so much so that I left the room and I was just doing other things. And I came back and the ring was on a slope. So I had to check Twitter. I was like, why is the ring on a slope? Like, what is this? And I saw this man pulling a tractor and just lifting it up. I was just like, what
really?
Was going on?
Right. That was just like a plot twist. I was just like, oh, this is what we're doing. All right, cool.
Yeah, so it was just like, to me, like, I was just like, wow. At that point, I just sat my ass down, like, let me watch the rest of this match and see where I was going. That's when I walked in on Paul Heyman and his ass handed to him and just tossed onto the table, which I didn't expect that, because, like, he had a little interesting, like, subtle, like, side chick, like, angle going on between him and between Roman or whatever. So, I honestly didn't see him getting a punishment. I thought he was just gonna be a messy side chick on the side or whatnot.
Right. He was really moving like a side chick. That's crazy. He was really moving like a side piece, which is wild.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing so much. Every time I saw him on TV, between like him like looking at Brock and looking at Roman and having that panic in his face, like he's about to get caught.
Right. Like he just got caught in the bedroom and he got to clear out before.
I just thought the shit was so funny. So to see that it came to a head, I do feel again that's another Triple H move that I decided to put this man through a table.
Yeah.
You know, as if like Brock is just, it's not Brock, as if whatchamacallit is just sick of his shit. I thought that was just great. That was fucking great television. The match was chaotic. It was all over the place, but it was kind of all over the place in the right ways, if you ask me.
Right.
I'm just like, you know, like again, I expected these men to do the same tired ass shit in the bare minimum. You know how Brock does the same 5 moves and Roman kind of similar to that. I expected an interference with the Usos. But it was fun. It was exciting. It was in good taste. I don't think the crowd knew what to expect. We were just going along with them. We all were having a good time. And again, I thought it was perfect time to get rid of Austin Theory, as I stated before, because nobody wanted to see that man. So
absolutely.
To see him just get tossed out into the side or whatnot, and now you're the youngest person to achieve the Money in the Bank briefcase, and also the youngest to also cash in and fucking lose it. Great, love it.
I think he still has it though. I think he still has the brief because nobody rang the bell. Nobody rang the bell. And I peeped that little small detail because he handed the ref the briefcase and then he got put out. The bell never rang. So technically he didn't lose it. So there's still, but I feel like this is going to be a turning point in his character. But I noticed that little small detail. They never rang the
Oh, that's
bell.
good that you noticed it. 'Cause I didn't even think about it. Wow, I
Never
thought
rang
that
the
they were.
bell. I was like, oh Jesus.
So you think they're gonna bring that up, or you think they're just gonna go with it?
I think it's gonna cause Austin Theory's character to kind of like switch, like, because he was acting like a young, cocky. He was acting like a he was acting like a high school senior on a football team as a varsity quarterback, and now he has to be
Yeah.
more tactical. And I think that's this one incident is going to introduce that into his strategic arsenal.
Actually, when I think about that, that's very elaborate because it could be Triple H's way of trying to repackage him because again, he was never low on Austin Theory. It was just Vince McMahon had ruined his character so much so that he's not appealing to the fans. And maybe he might use that to just repackage him so that when he comes back, he's something that's more digestible, something that we actually are looking forward to see because he should be a talent that we do take seriously, even though I personally don't like him for personal reasons. But I do feel like there's a lot of potential with him.
Absolutely.
I actually see Hunter trying to save all his talents that are still left on the main roster that Vince kind of fumbled. So
absolutely. Because he's going to use the main talent, the talents that he can, that he really developed and built in NXT, and he's going to use that to try to lure other people in. Like, I really think that him losing Adam Cole was tough for him because I feel like that was him and Shawn's baby. Like, he's a grown man, but I feel like Cole was like I remember there was one time Hunter and Shawn looked at Cole. It was like looking at you, like it was like them looking at their nephew. It was like, yo, this is really like his big homies. But like, I feel like he's gonna use this time to like salvage the talents that he has and then lure other talents that he lost. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Andrade back in WWE.
I kind of love that. I don't feel like they've been using him properly in AEW. If they have, it's been very I just feel like it's been very minimal. He hasn't felt as much of a star as he should be. I feel like he should be one of your pillar guys just with how good he is.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if it's because he doesn't have a proper mouthpiece or something. But something about him is not as engaging over there as it was when I watched him at NXT with Zelina on the side.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I don't know what it is.
But I think it was just Zelina is underrated, and we don't give her well, we do, but others don't give her the flowers that she deserves. But
it's because she's not in her role. Like, not for nothing. Like, it's okay if you just don't got it to fit into a certain promotion as being a wrestler. Like, she is a phenomenal mouthpiece. She's 4'11", but her personality is 6'3".
And sis is from Queens. Hello?
Yeah.
We know sis can talk. We know sis can talk. So
it's just like, but that's the thing about her. Like, she has this spicy personality, and she just has a way with words and just her body language, her facial expression, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it was perfect for someone like Andrade. And I think that we said this like in a separate conversation before about how if she was hypothetically in AEW, I would love to see her speaking for Thunder Rosa, just because she just has that. I don't know. It's the way she carries herself. It's the way she articulates her thoughts or whatnot. She could really curse you the fuck out without actually swearing, not one single time.
Literally.
Like literally. This is how Zelina is. Like, I love that. I don't think that when they gave her that role, I really appreciated it, by the way. But like when she got that Queen of the Ring role, and then she was placed in a tag team with Carmella, I couldn't get into it because again, she's not really in my eyes an in-ring competitor.
Yeah,
absolutely. I know that they try to do what they did with fucking Melina to Zelina, and it's just like you can't really compare like apples and oranges. They're not. Were they both phenomenal as managers? Yes, but I do think that Melina ultimately was better in a role as a in-ring competitor, and Zelina is just better in the role as just being an on-screen character / manager. Like, she's good at that. So
hitting her hurricanrana when she needs to, like the fact just casually just taking cats out in a head scissors just cause, like, that's her. Like, that's her body. We touched a little bit on SummerSlam, and we kind of touched on it briefly, but Naomi and Sasha have agreed to it's been speculated that Naomi and Sasha have agreed to a new agreement with WWE. definitely wanted to know your thoughts on this, how you feel this is going to impact creative in the women's division going forward, and what this says about Hunter's new kind of creative reign.
I'm not sure if anyone's gonna hate me for this, but I also don't really give a fuck. Um, I know a lot of people are very high on like Liv Morgan being champion and feeling like there's some change here because it's something new and fresh. But I personally felt as though as soon as Sasha and Naomi left, that whole division was on life support.
Yep.
And nobody was gonna save them until Sasha and Naomi came back. You know, I know a lot of people said that they wanted better for them. They wanted them to go back, go somewhere like Stardom or AEW or something like that. I personally don't think that they would have anything to gain from being over there. That only the promotions that they were going to were going to benefit from them because they are star power. They're already established. You know what I mean? I feel like Sasha and Naomi have so much more to accomplish, and just with the right promoter in the head of WWE, like they could really do a lot with them. And I didn't want to see them go anywhere.
Right.
So I was, you know, with Hunter coming back into, you know, control with not only just, you know, with NXT, but just with like the main roster and stuff like that. I was super excited because I feel like there's so much that you could really do with Naomi and Sasha, like not even just with the tag titles or whatnot, but because truth be told, Sasha doesn't need a title to be important. Neither does Naomi.
That's a fact.
You know, I feel like they are, my personal opinions. Not everyone has to agree with that. I feel like they are the heads of the women division. I feel like when they weren't there, a lot was lacking. There was, you know, because they have good talent on the roster. They do.
Yeah, they
that's
do.
for a fact. But they don't really have that many stars that are the full package, like what I see with Naomi and Sasha. Like when their music hits, there's a certain type of energy that comes from the crowd. These women know how to cut promos. They know how to convey themselves in the ring. They could make anyone look $1 million no matter how shit they are in the ring.
Yeah.
So when they were gone, I just felt like, again, there was something missing. And I feel like now that they're going to be back, I don't know how or when they're going to come back, you know, now I have a reason to care for the division. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
I feel great about it. And there's a couple things I want to piggyback off of what you were saying as far as the women's division kind of was on life support. It definitely felt, no pun intended, it felt a little bit unseasoned. It definitely was giving like, this is just like backup plan kind of era. We don't know what to do. I mean, like, because you can, Sasha and Naomi, outside of their current tag team storyline, were the two women that you could put in any situation and they will make it work. Like, they will make it work. And you can't say the same thing about a lot of the women in WWE. Ronda has to be a champion. Charlotte has to be a champion. Like,
they have no personality.
That exactly. But like Naomi and Sasha, it's been proven that you can literally put them at any place on the card and they will make it a moment. And so I think that because of that, they were definitely missing. I think that, like you said, everybody was like, we want to see them in AEW or Japan, and to be honest, that would have been nice. That would have been a nice surprise. It would have been a nice little moment. I don't think that it would have been able to be sustainable, because I feel like when somebody has a certain polish on them, I don't want to even say the WWE polish, but like when somebody has a certain polish on them, it's just hard to see them anywhere else. Like, it's going to be very, very distinct and very night and day. Like I said this with the Iconics when they went to Impact Wrestling, it just felt like they were out of place because they were so, like, as talents, I don't know, now I want to say them in ring, but as overall talents, they had a WWE polish on them. And because of that, it just didn't work anywhere else. I feel like Sasha's that woman. I feel like Sasha and Naomi are such bigger talents that they only deserve the biggest stages, and they only deserve to be at a WrestleMania. Not like, in all due respect to every other promotion, is just like, you ain't getting that in AEW. You're not getting that in Stardom or New Japan. Like, and I also think that it says a lot about Hunter's power and Hunter's character, because mind you, I don't think Sasha has been able to work as closely with Hunter since she left NXT. So if they did reach an agreement after Hunter came into power, it shows you the relationship that they have. It shows you that people are way more willing and way more flexible to work with a Triple H than a Vince McMahon. And I think that I think it's kind of like a sign of time, the sign of the times and the sign for things to come. I feel like a lot of people, even that we see in AEW over the next couple of years, are going to shift over, because I feel like the problem was never WWE as a company. It was the lack of creative control and being in an environment that wasn't conducive to what they wanted to do. You know what I mean? So I'm really, really glad that Sasha and Naomi are back. I feel like they're going to do some amazing things. I feel like they can be faces or heels, which excite me. I feel like they along with Bianca are WWE's women mainstream power. I feel like those three, Naomi, Sasha, and Bianca, are the next mainstream breakout stars in that company. And I'm just very, very excited to see where they go from here. So that being said, going from that, this was something, while we're on the topic of women, definitely wanted to address something that was kind of floating around during, I guess, the Culture 316 absence that I wanted to talk about just because I feel like it's important. This idea of women wrestlers having OnlyFans. And I felt like there were a lot of men that were shunning a lot of women wrestlers in particular, because of the OnlyFans content and the OnlyFans wave. And I feel like you made a very, very good point that I wanted to kind of shed light on and put on camera as far as that whole wave ideology. And yeah.
I mean, this is about 20 years ago. I mean, we discussed before privately, but just about 20 something years ago, like women were brought in just for, you know, to be eye candy and to be like sex symbols and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's what their roles were. And I understand that times have changed and they want the women to be taken seriously. However, you know, especially like in WWE, I did notice that some of the females weren't being used. They were sitting in catering, you know, people were forgetting about them or their value and stuff like that. And they're just trying to find other means of income. And not for nothing, we have a fan base of a bunch of horny men that will sit there and sexualize these women for free. So I don't see what's the harm in putting a paywall behind it, because I mean they're forever getting sexually harassed for what? You know what I mean? For who? And I just do feel like I don't see how it harms their work, you know, or how you should be able to differentiate that it is just a service if they are whatchamacallit, they are wrestling on TV versus them just providing you content behind a paywall. I don't understand where the shaming could really come from.
Right.
It's just like, again, you do it regardless when they put a photo on Instagram or on Twitter of themselves, whether it's them in the ring. You'll have like those weird pages. There's weird pages on Twitter. I'm pretty sure you've seen them, where they'll find the weirdest angles and put it in slow motion and then post it up on Twitter for everyone else to fap to. And it's just like, again, if you guys are going to sit there and do that, why can't these girls just go ahead and go post a regular picture on OnlyFans and make money off of you guys? I don't understand why they should be shamed for that.
Right.
I also don't understand why, in regards of WWE, why Vince didn't allow people to have a Patreon or have an OnlyFans, you know, or I think the next other thing they have is Brand Army, which is like, you know, the equivalent.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they weren't allowed to have that. I feel like he wants to kind of control your popularity over there.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm also happy he's not in control. I'm wondering if Hunter's going to allow the women to do that more often now, considering that he and Stephanie are in more control. But I don't see what's the issue with it.
I think what people had the issue with was the agency. The fact that women wrestlers, and I think this is reflective of society overall, that women are claiming more agency over their bodies and over their sexuality. And they have no problem when it's their gaze and under their control. But when it's the women who are saying, you know, we're going to take ownership of this and we're going to, you know, benefit off of this, then it becomes a problem. Because when you can dictate, you know, income and things of that nature, you have the control, right? It's no longer a man being like, you can or can't do this. It's like, nah, I'm gonna do whatever I want and y'all gonna buy into it because this is just what y'all want to see. As far as the Vince thing, as far as like not allowing women to have OnlyFans, I think even with the men, it was more so with Twitch, right? A lot of them wanted to stream and game and stuff. One of the biggest things that I think Vince was being very adamant about after John Cena was that he didn't want to create another star that was bigger than the company. Because what happens is that when you create stars that are bigger than the company, they now have leverage. Cena, I think last time I checked, he was making like $10 million a year, like off of WWE. And it's like, it's because he has built this larger than life image for himself and this brand for himself. And now he has that leverage of, I'm only going to show up XXXXX, but y'all definitely going to pay me this 10 million. And I think
Oh, of
that,
course.
and I think that Vince, like you said, is trying to put a cap on the popularity, because when you put a cap on the popularity, you are the one that has the leverage instead of the talent. And I think that that's what Vince was trying to do, but clearly that isn't working. And I feel like they're trying to build up more mainstream stars. And they're also trying to bring in mainstream stars, which is one of the reasons why they had a Logan Paul, why they have Bad Bunny, because, they need that mainstream exposure. Speaking of which, this is like a side tangent, because you said you were going to babble. I'll be babbling too. And I'll be thinking, Logan Paul at SummerSlam.
Love it.
Logan Paul at SummerSlam. Hello? Like, were you surprised as I was with Logan's performance?
No, because in WrestleMania he popped the fuck off, and he surprised me then. Like, I want to hate him because of his history with what he does on YouTube. Like, I want to hate him so badly, but he makes it so fucking hard because,
right.
like, I can't hate someone that takes this business seriously, because there's so many celebrities or outside people that come in. WWE just wants to try to pull in whatever mainstream talents they can, so that they could get like a pop or something in the ratings. And it's just like Logan Paul came in here and he just understood the assignment. Like,
right.
He already has his own character going. We all knew that. But in terms of just like his athleticism, I was just so taken back. It was to a point where when I was watching, I was able to envision him with like someone like a Ricochet in the ring, or AJ Styles, or a Matt Riddle, or just he just has that it. He's crisp in the ring. I didn't notice any slopiness. If there was, I mean, he covered it up so well, I didn't even notice. I'm like, damn, he's only been here for like what, a year, maybe less than a year.
A little bit less than a year.
And this is what he's putting out now. Imagine him a year down the line, 5 years down the line. You know what I mean? What I loved about him is that he was able to generate a natural babyface reaction. And that's something for the last few years I feel like Vince McMahon kind of sucked at doing.
Yes.
It's easier to create a heel because, not for nothing, I know these people are fed up. So when they get their time to get on the mic, they be cursing us the fuck out and saying what the fuck they want to say. But as a babyface, they come off so generic and corny and forced, and it's just like, this just felt so natural, to the point he got my attention. I actually want to see him. I want to see more of him. I want to see more matchups. I want to see him with the rocket strap.
Yeah.
Off of those two performances, and maybe I'm speaking too soon, but I feel like there's something special about him. What do you think?
I definitely see that. It's interesting because I feel like him and Bad Bunny were very similar in like popping off at Mania. I think that him and another sidebar, Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny, WrestleMania Hollywood needs to happen. Y'all got 2 nights. Yes. Y'all are in the second biggest market in the US.
Yes.
That you need to make that happen. But yeah, like with Logan, I think I was shocked, but I also wasn't shocked. Like, even with the stuff that his younger brother Jake Paul is doing, right? Even with the boxing, regardless of how you feel about him or what he's doing with that takes a lot of discipline, a lot of athleticism. You have to be conditioned a certain way to be performing at that level. And I think that, if Jake could do it, Logan could do it. I feel like once I heard that he was going to be coming back to SummerSlam, I feel like I was like, ooh, I think this may be something. And he didn't disappoint. That frog splash through the table really sent me. I was shocked. I was like, because it's one thing when you do it in the ring, but like your second match, your second pay-per-view, second match in general, but second pay-per-view major match you're doing that is just insane. Also big shout outs to Pat McAfee. We'll get into that a little bit later. But that frog splash was insane. And it was just like when he put out that video later saying like he was addicted to the sport, it reminded me kind of like of The Rock. He says like, yo, there's no feeling that you get like that's like equal to that adrenaline rush. And I feel like we're seeing that with Logan in real time. So shout outs to that man, because he did the damn thing. He did the damn thing and he put in the work. And I think he earned a lot of people's respect with the performance that he had. I was gonna say, following off of that, because I think we're just spitballing. Pat McAfee. Do you feel like which match would you prefer to see at this point in time? A Logan versus Pat McAfee or a Logan versus Bad Bunny?
I would go with Logan first and build to Bad Bunny. You could kind of go either way with it, just because like they both are very good, like very good. If I had to compare Bad Bunny and Logan off of like which matches or performances I enjoyed more, I definitely would go with maybe Logan.
Yeah,
but I do feel like I do want to see him with Logan first, just because he is running off of that high, and we haven't seen Bad Bunny in a bit.
That's a fact.
But I do feel like their chemistry, just if I'm envisioning a promo in my head, I definitely feel like there is a lot more for them to go off of back and forth, because I do feel like that's something that Logan has down, being that he is on screen as like a personality. Right. I feel like a promo should come to him naturally, and from what I've seen with him with The Miz, it's like as if he's been doing this already. Like, he just knows how this business works.
Right.
So I think it'd be more exciting to see first, me personally.
I'm excited for that as well, and I agree with you. And you just brought up a very good point. Like, when he was working with Miz, I think that him working with Miz has dramatically increased his level of performance. And I think that that's a testament to how Logan takes this business seriously, but I think it's also a testament to how damn good The Miz is.
Yeah, people hate him, and it's just like, y'all don't understand. Like, he literally like sets people up, or kind of is like that moving block or that stepping stone for them getting better. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like once you could work with The Miz, because The Miz could work with anyone. He could talk your ear off. Anybody, right?
Anyone.
Like, yeah, he's not like the most amazing or most exciting in the ring or whatever, but if you could work with The Miz, I just feel like if you got that down pat, you already are established and you're ready for the next big thing. And I feel like people don't appreciate The Miz for that. They just think that, all right, he's been doing the same old shtick for like 10 years or whatnot. And it's just like, listen, that same old fucking tie shtick got a lot of people over. The same way Jericho's same ass tie shtick got people over as well.
Right. That's a fact. You know? I think that, and you got to think about it like this. If he's been doing the same shtick for 10 years, that means that it's worked for 10 years. And to be completely honest, I feel like The Miz has had a lot of stories over the course of this past decade that were just like, wait, did y'all niggas peep? Like, him and Dolph for that IC title was amazing. Like, that was the thing that they literally gave Miz and Ziggler scraps, because I don't think Vince really cared for the IC title. And he really was like, here, just take it. And they took scraps and they made magic out of that. But once again, that just goes to show you how good The Miz is. I think he's definitely goated, and he needs to get more of his flowers than what we give him, or what wrestling fans overall give him, because I feel like we've gotten to like this indie mindset of like, if you're not doing 450s 20 times a match, like, you're not a great in-ring performer. But it's like, it's about the story, and I think Miz tells great stories in the ring. But it is 10. We got to wrap up. But I wanted to say I'm so excited for this season. Thank you guys for tuning in for our return. I was looking at my phone a couple times because a couple crazy things just happened while we were on air. So number one, congratulations to Shawn Spears. Him and Cassie are expecting a child. Yeah. Congratulations to Shawn Spears and Peyton Royce, the woman formerly known as Peyton Royce. And they also just released some gameplay footage for AEW's new video game, Fight Forever. And the gameplay trailer has Adam Cole getting beat up by Britt Baker. So that's fun. But yeah, that's happening. We're probably going to talk about that on the next pod. But first of all, thank you. I'm excited to be working with you, my dog. And to the listeners, welcome back. We back. You feel me? Subscribe everywhere, like everything, share, comment. We definitely want to be more interactive this season, and we'll see you guys on the next pod.